I'm Chanda. I'm 30 years old and happily married to a wonderful husband. I'm an entrepreneur, employer, leader, and a taxpayer. I'm the CEO of a company that I founded. I network, fundraise, educate, and give back to the community. People say I'm different because I started my own business. I guess choosing to take the risky road does make me different. But I can't do or be any of these things if you only see me like this.
A lot of times, people they don't have any outward physical disabilities, or they don't physically look a certain way, and so lots of times people wouldn't even know that they're disabled. Everybody has skills, everybody, and everybody can work, no matter your disability, be it developmental, be it physical. With physical disabilities, there's a lot of adaptations that you have to make, almost physical adaptations, whereas developmental disabilities, it's a lot more about having more patience, stopping and thinking, okay, this person can't process this information in this way, so I need to not talk to them this way. I need to change how I'm behaving towards them.
So I think it's being creative and looking at the person, what they can do, rather than what they can't do. We value people who are different.
Soon after 9/11, I joined the Marine Corps. It was in Fallujah in 04. Every day, we were either getting shot at, mortared, RPGs, I mean everything. It was a daily occurrence. We had fought for, about that time it had been a month since I had a shower. We needed to get some chow up to these guys. And so I jumped into the gun of the Humvee. It was an anti-tank mine and blew the Humvee up. So, I was knocked unconscious for a few seconds. 25% of my eardrum was blown out, I had a little blood clot in my eye. And then later down the road, I started developing neck issues. I have narrowing in my C3-4 spine and a semi-bulging disc in my C5. It changed my whole life, I guess. I guess my form of PTSD is a little bit different than other people's. It's an everyday thing. It definitely puts a burden, like when I go out and try to go out and have fun, like at bars or something like that. I get kind of anxiety and things like that, so.
Every 2 weeks I get a paycheck, and I've been getting a paycheck now for 21 years, and I still have never lost the sense of pride and of dignity.
I had a fear, everything came with a fear. Can I do this, and am I gonna have a support system behind me? I would say to a parent that has a child with a disability, don't stop them. Because at some point you're not going to be there to hold that child's hand. You want them to obtain all the resources they possibly can. And if you give it to them properly, when you're long and gone, they can take care of themselves. Once I had the proper support system in place, I think I thrived.
That's how you get out there. You just start. No matter how scary it is, you kind of flick yourself off the cliff.
There's a lot of stereotypical things out there where people with disabilities just sit in their homes and watch TV all day.
It used to be kind of this lumping together, like all people in wheelchairs, well, they can do computers because they can sit down and type. All people who are deaf can work in the mailroom because it's really loud and it won't be distracting for them.
For me, it's more about getting out there and feeling as if I have a purpose in the community, and that all happens through my job.
We're trying to slowly change people's perceptions, and that's the hardest, the perception that people have.
But once you get to know a person with a disability, we're just like everybody else. Most of us yearn for that human connection and want to be engaged in the community.
People working with disabilities is no different than anyone else. They just want to be able to work like anyone else and do their part. Live life and try to have fun at it.
Everybody has something that they can bring as an asset. to society as a whole. And it's recognizing that and recognizing that you have value.
I think there's value in diversity and being different people.
That's how we're just like everybody else, is that we're all different.
I tried to do a lot of internships or do a lot of jobs throughout the summer when I was in high school, and it was really sad and it was really kind of uncomfortable because I couldn't find anybody to hire me.
I know in my field, occasionally I used to get emails on how to beat ADA, and it used to infuriate me.
I think that what happened in some cases is employers became afraid that they could get sued, so they wouldn't even let the person in the door.
I mean, people working with disabilities is no different than anyone else. They just want a level ground to play on.
Perceptions of people, what they think is going to happen to them if they get close to a person with disabilities, or that is a way bigger barrier than whether or not they can get up the curb or through the door.
I think it's being creative and looking at the person what they can do rather than what they can't do.
All I need from you is an opportunity.
I spent about 10 years in the bed before I became independent. I had to figure out myself mentally and just convince myself that, hey, it is a life out there for me and I can live, but what I had to find was the income to do it.
We have dreams, hopes, desires. Most of us yearn for that human connection and want to be engaged in the community.
Work is important to me because it increases my value. I feel that I'm valuable to my community. I feel that I'm able to contribute what I want to contribute.
It's very, very important to me. It does really help me feel that I'm contributing and that I'm engaged in the community.
As a human being, people really feel like they need to be giving back, and that's what you do when you're working.
I see it's making me healthy and making me feel better. I think I felt better this year than I did my whole injury, and that lets me know I'm on the right track.
It's really liberating to call yourself a taxpayer. I wish that for anybody with a disability, because I think that's truly where we all want to be, is working and doing something with our vocation that feeds our soul. Anybody with a disability can work, and everyone needs to know that.
Once you find a job that speaks to you, now you have an identity. It's not a hidden disability, it's a hidden ability. It's trying to find out what their strengths are, not what their weaknesses.
You know, I think of myself as me, and I have some diseases, or I have some issues with walking, but that's not who I am.
I struggle with dyslexia, and so numbers are not my friend. And so in sales, they have lots of numbers. That got me totally overwhelmed. I got severely depressed. I wound up in Albuquerque, and I was homeless. And in being homeless, that is a very, very scary situation. It's very frightening. And I had a DVR counselor, a wonderful lady who is visually impaired. And with her visual impairment, she saw more in me than I ever saw in myself.
I really think the hidden disabilities are overlooked quite a bit. And because what does that mean? What is your accommodation? What is that? And there's not a list that I can even think of or direct someone to.
People have other, not disabilities, but abilities to see how things could be done better. And I think the more we can focus on those strengths and help reshape how society evolves and works with people in the workforce, you're going to find it a much better place to work.
It's just different.
It's just different.